Do you avoid lifting your chin in photos or video calls because you don't like how the skin under your chin looks? In this video, I will reveal a 5-minute morning routine that firms loose and wrinkled neck skin. And at the end, I will also share 2 very useful tips that enhance the results of this routine. All right, before I teach you this routine, I need you to understand something very important. Beneath your neck and the lower part of your face, there is a muscle called the platysma. You may have never heard that name before, but this muscle is one of the main reasons the neck looks firm and defined. It is a long, flat muscle that runs from the collarbone to the jaw, and when you were younger, it functioned almost like a natural facelift. It helps support the skin, kept the jawline more defined, and made that entire area look much firmer. But after the age of 50, something begins to happen that almost no one talks about. And this is where many people start noticing those pronounced neck bands, loose skin under the jaw, or that feeling that the neck has collapsed all of a sudden. Why does this happen? Because the platysma gradually begins to weaken. Just like any muscle in the body that is no longer used properly, it starts to lose mass and volume. And when the support underneath begins to shrink, the skin above it also starts to sag. That is why looseness appears and wrinkles become more visible. And here comes the most important part of all, because this is something the beauty industry rarely wants you to understand. No cream actually reaches the platysma. Creams work on the surface of the skin, but the platysma is underneath. It is a muscle, and muscles do not respond simply to a cream. Think of it this way. If you wanted to strengthen your legs or your arms, do you think it would be enough to apply a cream on top? Of course not. You would need to activate the muscle, move it, and stimulate it properly. And exactly the same thing happens with the neck. And that is precisely what this routine is designed to do. This routine is not designed just to improve appearance for a few hours. The idea is to reactivate the muscle that has not been working properly for years, and at the same time, help the skin above it look firmer and better supported. People who perform this routine consistently usually begin to notice a firmer neck and a more defined jawline within 4 to 6 weeks. And I am not talking about tiny changes that only you can notice by getting close to the mirror. I am talking about visible changes, the kind that make other people start saying things like, "Your neck looks different," "You look more rejuvenated," or "Your face looks firmer." And the most incredible thing is that you only need 5 minutes every morning. Now, before moving on to the exercises, there is something important I want you to understand. Because yes, muscle work is the foundation of this entire method. But this routine does not stop there. There are 2 additional steps that greatly enhance the results and help the changes in the neck and jawline become noticeable much faster. One of these steps directly helps the skin above the muscle because that skin also has specific needs, especially after the age of 60. And the other step works on something that almost nobody mentions when talking about neck looseness, but that can make the jawline look more defined and firm in a matter of days. So I want you to do this routine exactly as I am about to explain it to you now, step by step. Before continuing, write the word firm neck in the comments if you commit to doing this routine starting today. All right, let's begin with the most important step of all, the platysma activation exercise. This exercise takes about 90 seconds and works exactly where the problem really begins, the muscular structure beneath the skin. First, sit or stand with your back straight. Do not hunch your neck or shoulders. Now, slightly lift your chin. And when I say slightly, I mean just a small upward angle, enough to feel a gentle stretch in the front of the neck. You do not need to tilt your head completely backward. Now comes the key part. Press your tongue firmly against the roof of your mouth and keep it there. The moment you do this, you will probably feel the muscles in the front of your neck begin to activate. That sensation is exactly what we want. That muscle you feel working is the platysma waking up again. While keeping your tongue pressed against the roof of your mouth, slightly pull down the corners of your mouth as if making an exaggerated expression of disgust or a small frown. And yes, it may feel strange at first, but that is when the muscle really begins to work. Hold that position for 5 seconds. You should feel tension along the front and also the sides of your neck. Then relax completely. That counts as 1 repetition. Now repeat the movement 10 times and pay attention to how your neck feels while doing it, because many women are surprised to discover muscles that literally had not been activated for years. Next, we move on to the second part of the platysma activation. Remain seated or standing with good posture. This time, tilt your head a little farther back as if you were going to look at the ceiling. Then push your lower lip forward, trying to cover your upper lip as much as possible without causing discomfort. In this exercise, you will notice a different type of activation. The tension is usually felt lower down near the collarbone and the lower part of the neck. That happens because you are now working different fibers of the platysma that are normally almost never activated. Hold the position for 5 seconds, then relax. And once again, perform 10 repetitions. Between both exercises, you will spend approximately 1.5 minutes. But even though it may seem like very little time, you are working practically the entire length of the platysma from the collarbone to the jaw. And here is the important part. When you do this every morning consistently, you gradually begin to restore tone and support to the muscle that helps keep the neck firm and the jawline defined. And that is precisely the reason why many women begin to notice a more lifted neck and less looseness after several weeks of consistency. And I want you to be very clear about something from the beginning so that you do not get scared when you start this routine. During the first few days, you may notice your neck feeling a little tired or with a slight sensation of tension after doing the exercises. And honestly, that is exactly what should happen. That does not mean you are damaging your neck. It means the muscle is finally waking up. In fact, many women tell me that at first they are surprised because they had never felt that area working in that way. But after approximately 2 weeks, that sensation almost completely disappears and the exercises begin to feel much easier and more natural. And here comes the interesting part. It is precisely at that moment when the first visible changes usually begin. Maybe one day you will look in the mirror and notice that your jawline looks a little more defined. Or perhaps the skin beneath your chin no longer looks as heavy. Subscribe and turn on notifications to keep learning easy-to-do methods that firm and rejuvenate your skin. Now let's move on to the second exercise, because this one works on one of the areas that bothers women the most after the age of 60, the area beneath the chin. That area where the famous turkey neck looseness, or that skin that causes the jawline to lose definition, often appears. And tell me something, has it ever happened to you that in some photos you feel like your jawline practically disappears? That happens because the muscles in that area also weaken over time. And this exercise is designed precisely to activate them again. What you are going to do is very simple. Place your closed fist directly beneath your chin. Then try to push your chin downward while at the same time applying force with your fist to prevent your head from actually moving down. In other words, both sides apply pressure at the same time. And even though there is almost no movement, the muscle is working intensely. This is what is known as an isometric contraction, muscular tension without visible movement. And although it may seem simple, this type of activation can be incredibly effective for strengthening the area beneath the jaw. Hold that pressure for 5 seconds. While doing it, you should feel the muscles beneath the chin and around the jawline becoming activated. Then relax and repeat the exercise 8 times. In total, it will take you less than a minute. But this small activation can do a great deal for the appearance of the neck and jawline over the course of several weeks. That is why when you begin stimulating them properly again, the area starts to look more compact, firmer, and much more defined. This exercise is one of the most effective tools for improving a double chin and sagging skin beneath the jaw without the need for aggressive procedures. Now we come to a part of the routine that many people overlook, but that can make an enormous difference in how your neck looks over the weeks. Because once you have activated the muscles and increased circulation in that area, the skin enters a perfect moment to receive ingredients that truly help it look firmer and healthier. And here is where something interesting happens. After the exercises, the neck is much more stimulated. There is greater blood flow, more oxygen reaching the tissues, and the skin becomes more receptive. That is why applying your products at this moment makes much more sense than doing it randomly during the day. The first product you are going to use is a niacinamide serum. You do not need much. Just a few drops on the neck and chest area are enough. But I want you to remember this because it is important. Every movement should go upward, always lifting the skin gently, never dragging it downward. Now, why use niacinamide specifically? Because it helps strengthen the skin's natural barrier, improves hydration, and supports processes related to firmness and elasticity. In addition, it calms that silent inflammation that accelerates aging without you even realizing it. After that, you are going to apply a peptide serum, just a few more drops, and once again, upward movements. If you find ingredients such as matrixyl or argireline, even better, because they are peptides known for helping improve the appearance of firmness and smoothness in mature skin. This entire step takes approximately 1 minute, but it can greatly enhance the results of the entire routine. And please, do not forget the chest area. Many women take care of their face and neck, but leave their chest area completely neglected, when in reality, it is one of the areas that reveals age the fastest. If you are still watching this video, write "I'm still here" in the comments. Alright, now let's move on to the next step. And honestly, this is usually one of the fastest changes people notice: lymphatic drainage. Because not all of the headiness in the neck comes solely from looseness or sagging skin. Many times there is also fluid accumulation, especially upon waking up. Has it never happened to you that some days your neck looks more swollen or your jawline less defined first thing in the morning? That happens because during the night, fluid can accumulate in this area and make the face look heavier than it really is. And this is where this simple massage can help you tremendously. With relaxed hands and using the flat part of your fingers, gently glide from beneath the ear down toward the collarbone. No pressing hard. In fact, the gentler the movement, the better. Make several slow downward strokes and then move from the center of the throat toward the sides of the neck. This entire step takes only a few seconds. But here is the incredible part. Many women begin to notice a cleaner jawline and a less swollen neck in just a few days. Why so quickly? Because fluid responds much faster than tissue. And when you help drainage, the neck can look more defined almost immediately. Now let's move on to the final step of the morning routine. And although it may seem simple, this step is what maintains and protects everything you have just done. Hydration and sun protection. First, apply a moisturizer rich in hyaluronic acid and ceramides to the neck and chest area. Hyaluronic acid helps keep the skin hydrated and looking fuller. And this is key because when the skin is dehydrated, wrinkles and loose texture become much more noticeable. Ceramides, on the other hand, help strengthen the skin's natural barrier so that hydration does not escape quickly. And here is something many people do not know. The skin on the neck produces less natural oil than the skin on the face. That is why it tends to dry out more quickly and show signs of aging sooner. So do not be afraid to apply enough product. And once again, all movement should go upward and extend to the chest area as well. And although this entire morning routine takes only 5 minutes, there is a small nighttime habit that can help you accelerate the changes even more. Before going to bed, apply a small amount of Bakuchiol to the neck and chest area. And pay attention to this because this ingredient is becoming increasingly popular among women over the age of 60. Bakuchiol is a plant-based active ingredient that helps improve the texture and firmness of the skin in a way very similar to retinol. But here is the important difference. Many people do not tolerate retinol well on the neck because that skin is much more delicate. It becomes irritated, dries out, or flakes easily. Bakuchiol, on the other hand, is usually much gentler, which is why many women can use it consistently without causing irritation. And something I think is important to mention is that Bakuchiol did not become popular for no reason. In fact, more and more specialists became interested in this ingredient because it offers benefits very similar to retinol, but without causing as much irritation, especially in delicate areas such as the neck. But this is where Bakuchiol changes the rules. In a clinical study conducted over 12 weeks, people who used Bakuchiol showed improvements in skin firmness and in the appearance of wrinkles that were very similar to those seen with retinol, but with much less irritation. All you need to do is apply a small amount after your moisturizer before going to bed, always using gentle upward motions. Then simply let it work throughout the night. Now before we finish, I want to quickly talk about something that many people forget when trying to firm the skin. Nutrition. Because let's be honest, no cream, no serum, and no exercise can do all the work on its own if the body does not have the nutrients needed to build and maintain firm skin from the inside. And there are 3 things that are especially important here. The first is protein, because collagen is made of protein. It is that simple. That is why it is important to include some protein in every meal. Foods such as eggs, legumes, fish, or Greek yogurt. The second thing is vitamin C. Vitamin C is directly involved in the process that allows new collagen fibers to form. In other words, without enough vitamin C, the body cannot properly assemble collagen even if all the other ingredients are available. And sometimes, something as simple as adding lemon to your morning water can help you get more vitamin C in an easy and affordable way. Share this video with friends and family members who want to firm their skin. Discover the secret ingredient you should add to your water to rejuvenate your skin. Click here. See you in the next video.